Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Outlaw Podcast. I'm doing a behind the scenes look. As you can see, this right here is where I sit. It's where I do most of my recordings. As you can see, it's a cheapskate, very cheapskate studio. This is my kitchen, to be exact. Very cheapskate. This is where I do most of my scripts. I'm not going to show them because I don't want to spoil it. So this is where I write down most of the scripts. As you may have heard, I don't do wrestling podcasts no more because of the fact that it doesn't really seem like an interesting topic. I'm still trying to work in times to where I can do a podcast. I have made a podcast sheet. I will be sending it to people for invitation to come over and do a podcast with me. I bet you guys are wondering how I've been so far. I haven't done a podcast in a long time. And I figured since it's Thanksgiving, I've been dying all week to do a podcast. Like, oh my god, I've been so bored. So, I've been playing Fallout 4. I'm sure y'all guys have heard of that. And last Thanksgiving, or it was either last Thanksgiving or Christmas, my buddy Ashton, he introduced me to something called mods. And I thought that you had to pay for mods. He's like, no, mods are free. And he showed me the steps to get it, and it was amazing. All I had to do was update my Xbox, update Fallout 4, and bam, I had it. But I'm kind of having a problem right now with the mods, and I'll explain it here in a second. But so far, I found good mods. I feel like freaking Terminator with all of the guns I have. I have an M16. I have a M1911, a Colt 45, pump action shotgun. It's actually a hunting shotgun from Fallout 3, I think. And I'm just enjoying the mods. But the problem I'm having right now is that the mods are saying action could not be completed or it just won't download. And I've already emailed the company that made Fallout, and I cannot pronounce their name for the life of me. They said that I needed to link my account, and I've already done that, and it hasn't done a thing. And I wish they would stop being lazy and fix the freaking thing already. But most of the mods I have are gun mods, and I may assume that some of y'all may think of mods as a cheating method, but I see it as doing it for fun. Because I never really liked playing Fallout 4 without mods because it was just too boring to me. But the very, very fun mod that I have... Oh, my leg. The very, very fun mod that I had was a zombie mod. I could spawn zombies anytime, and I could spawn multiple herds. But the only thing I hated about it is that I couldn't change the setting to the headshot. Like, it had to be the direct headshot, or else they'd get back up and scratch at you. Oh. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm playing Skyrim and Fallout 4. They're good. Bethesda games. See, I can't pronounce it with crap. In Skyrim, I've been kind of doing the same thing. I got a lightsaber mod, and I also got the force abilities and all of that. It's really awesome. I enjoy playing both of those games the most. There's been a lot of times I just take a break from it because it kind of gets boring after a while. Like I remember when my parents got the internet installed and everything was all set. I remember I stayed up until like 1 o'clock waiting on my Xbox and Fallout 4 to update. Oh my god. I'm never doing that again. That was the longest time I have ever waited for a game to upload. And I only had time to play for 15 minutes because it was 1 o'clock in the morning and I didn't want my parents getting up and yelling at me, so yeah. But I was excited. The next day I just went on a hunt, shopping spree for mods, and I just went from there. but I've restarted Fallout 4 multiple times because I either did something wrong and I can't fix it, or the game will glitch, or um, there'll be a cross-member pattern problem with the graphics, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I've restarted multiple times. Um, I remember last year, my buddy Ashton, he was having problems with one of the graphics. There would be a puddle and it'd be like a rainbow color. If y'all guys could tell me what the problem that was, I appreciate it. Um, I just don't remember the name of it, but I remember I got frustrated because um, I remember watching a video and it said to update the Xbox and make a Bethesda account. And don't judge me, I cannot pronounce the name for the life of me. Um, Anyways, it says something about updating it and then make an account. Well, I didn't make an account. I just went straight to the mods, and yeah, I had to go to the website, and it took me an hour and 15 minutes to set up an account. And then it would log me out and say I needed to enter my username and password. And like the password, oh my god, the password part is what made me mad the most, because you have to capitalize the first letter, and then you have to add numbers and all that mess. It was just a pain. But although I have been good, I remember I think the last time I did a podcast was over the summer, and I think that was when I announced that I'm no longer doing wrestling podcasts. If for some reason y'all guys can't find the episode where I announced that, it probably either didn't upload or it was just my imagination. Because I could have swore that I uploaded a video and I announced that I wasn't no longer doing wrestling podcast. But I am going to promise y'all this. This is probably not going to be the only Thanksgiving podcast I'm going to do, but I may not do one over Christmas. It depends on my schedule, because my dad's not working no more and my mom's not working no more, so I really don't have time to do a podcast. And I can't do it with my brother's here because he'll come in here and interrupt, make noise, and I have to restart. And y'all guys know who our siblings are. But I'm going to see if I can try to get Grayson. Y'all guys remember Grayson? I had him on a couple of my podcasts. Get him to do it on here, and I've already written the script for the Christmas podcast. If not, I'll just change it for whenever I do the podcast. But I'm going to tell y'all guys how school's been. School's been all right. So far, it's been really good. I passed most of my classes. I dropped out of ag because I think I remember telling y'all guys this. The ag teacher got fired, and another teacher took over. He quit, went to another school, and then another teacher came in, took over, and then was told that the class that I was in cannot go out into the shop because they don't have their OSHA done. And it was very frustrating for me because it felt like they were wasting my time, and they were like, well, it's a 6 month course, and it needs to be done by Friday. And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to get my OSHA done if it's a 6 month course, have it done by Friday? And it frustrated me, and I told my teacher straight up, the substitute teacher, that I'm not doing it, and it's a waste of time, and I don't care if you fail me or not. And she's like, I don't blame you, because I agree with your opinion. And thank God she did, because she thought it was stupid. And she told the whole class that if she got the job, that she would move, and that didn't end up happening, because one of the classmates told me that one of the bottles on the cutting torch blew open and there was flaming coming out of the top, and oh my god, it just sounded like a disaster. But we got a new teacher this year. I met the guy; he's really nice. He told us a little about his career in welding and the jobs he did. He changed oil in cars. He changed tires. He did motor swaps. He did all kinds of automotive and welding. He's a really nice guy. I look forward to getting into the class next year. This year, I plan to focus on my PE credit and my foreign language. I'm actually taking American Sign Language. Actually, really, really basic for me. I'm actually enjoying it, but my teacher told me that I no longer have to be in it if I pass this 6 weeks with a 70. So I'm excited. I won't have to be in it for long because some of the activities we do are either boring or I don't want to do them. I know that sounds like a stupid excuse, but it's the truth. It is what it is. Um, I didn't do a podcast because, well, the way I have my agenda set up for a podcast was I was going to do one on my birthday, and I was going to have a friend of mine, my friend Chris, on here, but he had to work, and I was busy changing the brakes on the Jeep for my dad because he can't do it because he has his he's on PD dialysis, and he has no strength in his left arm. So I was helping him out with that. Um, but I'm now 17. I'm trying to look into getting. I'm almost finished with driver's ed. I'll be getting my learner's permit soon, and I'm trying to look into getting a car. I'd like to get me a truck, preferably a 1985 or 81 Chevy, automatic transmission, 502, big block, solid black. If I can't find one, then I'll just see if I can try to look for a basic car. Buy another Jeep, probably. I have been looking at some muscle cars, though, and there has been some good deals that I have come across, and I wish I had the money to go buy them. Uh, on Facebook, I'm on this buy, sell, and trade thing, and there's this guy that was selling a Dodge Duster for $1,500. And he said, because, well, it looked like crap, to be honest, but he said that he put a new motor and transmission in it. He restored the seats and redid the whole entire inside of the car. He said the only thing that needed to be done was paint and new tires, which he included that he would give four brand new 4 sets of tires as help for getting rid of the Dodge Duster. And I wish I would have had the money because I would have bought that. I believe it was a 354 or a 351. No. Crap, what kind of motor was it? It was a 427 Hemi, my bad. Um, yeah, he put a 427 Hemi in it, and he took a video of it, and it sounded like it ran really good. Too bad I didn't have the money because somebody had already came and got it. But there's been a lot of good deals I've come across on cars and trucks. What else to talk about? I didn't really plan this podcast. I just kind of went for the best. My parents went to go get pizza. Um, I will let y'all guys know exactly what I'm going to do with this podcast because I'm currently not happy with the status that it is going or the way it is going. If I had a studio and I had an assistant and everything else to establish my podcast, then it wouldn't be a problem for me. But oh, I just think that it would be more efficient if I had a studio, an assistant to do my planning, and a writer to write my scripts on the topics we're going to be talking about, and a topic list along with the podcast invitations and all of that. I don't know if there's a career in doing a podcast. I think it's like a radio spokesperson. Uh, leave it. Leave a description in the comments below if you know exactly if there's a job position for podcast, because I'd be interested in doing it. But the reason why I wanted to start this podcast in the first place was to talk about wrestling, and I got inspiration from what's his name, Talkus Jericho, and the Edge and Christian podcast, Jim Ross, uh, the Jim Cornette podcast. Um, there's more podcasts that I got inspiration from, but it just seems that nobody was interested in talking about wrestling. I mean, my dad. I could have got my dad to talk about wrestling because he grew up. He told me a story. He went to go see the Von Erichs when he lived in Altus, or no, it wasn't him. It was my aunt Laura that went and saw the Von Erichs. But he grew up watching wrestling. He told me that he remembers when Ric Flair, the Steiner brothers, Junkyard Dog, um, who else? Ricky Steamboat, I think, and Randy Savage. I want to say those are the wrestlers he said he remembers seeing. But he was telling me like he would flip back and forth between WCW and WWE, and then there'd be the ratings and all of that. He knew a lot about wrestling. My grandpa was actually in old school wrestling. I forget exactly what the name of it is, but Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, and Jack Swagger did that wrestling in high school and college. If y'all guys could tell me that, like, what's the name of that type of wrestling, leave a comment in the below. Um, I'll tell you another thing I need to work on is saying exactly what I mean when I do a podcast, like how to word it properly, because sometimes doing a podcast can get me nervous. Um, but I just thought I would do a behind the scenes of what my cheapskate studio looks like. See, that's where my guests would usually sit, and this is my planning book. I'd write all the scripts in, and I'm not leaking them. But as you can see, I'm doing this for fun, and I'm not doing this for money or anything. I have thought about doing like a promotion, or not a promotion, but like an advertisement. I thought about doing advertisements of like ads and all of that, just for the heck of it, just to sponsor some of the great products that I buy. Um, like I thought about doing Barbozel. I thought about doing that's a shaving brand, by the way. I thought about doing. There's a lot of advertisements I thought about doing. I thought about doing the coffee brand, all that mess. But I just wanted to do a Thanksgiving podcast behind the scenes. I know it wasn't much, but hey, it was worth it. Well, I'll see y'all guys next time when I do a Christmas podcast. Hopefully, if my scheduling is not tight and bundled. Happy holidays. See ya.